On our anniversary, I opened the door and froze. My husband was standing there, smiling politely, and behind him were strangers. A woman I had never seen before, holding the hands of two little children. For a moment, my mind refused to understand. I stood there in my blue dress, the one he had once said made me look peaceful, and I realized I didn't know how to feel. I smiled, not because I was happy, not because I forgave him in that instant. I smiled because somehow it felt safer than screaming. "This is my family," he said. He sounded calm, gentle, familiar, like nothing had changed. And I thought, "But I am your family." I stepped aside, I let them in. The door closed behind them with a soft click, and suddenly the room felt smaller, full yet empty. We sat at the table together. The cake he had promised me was there, candles unlit, two of them, one for each of us, or so it seemed. I poured the tea, my hands shaking slightly, pretending everything was fine. I did not cry that night, I did not shout. I kept my voice quiet, soft, calm, because this was not a fight I could win, not tonight. Sometimes the deepest pain does not scream. It does not knock on doors or demand attention. It waits, patient, quiet, and it waits for you to notice it, even when the world around you pretends nothing has changed. I met my husband when I was 22. He wasn't the loud, charming type who made people turn their heads. He was quiet, thoughtful, calm in a way that made you feel safe. We built our life slowly. A small apartment in the city, then a slightly bigger home in the suburbs. Evenings filled with quiet dinners, soft music, and sometimes nothing at all except the comfort of being together. We didn't have children. It was a sorrow we shared quietly, like a fragile ornament we never let touch the floor. We never spoke of it loudly. Sometimes, when I saw him watching other fathers with their kids, I felt a sharp, hollow pain, but I didn't complain. I didn't want to make him feel guilty. Anniversaries were special to me, but always simple. We didn't need gifts or grand celebrations, just a meal, a short walk, a few shared stories about the past year. I had prepared for this anniversary for weeks. I cleaned the house meticulously. I wiped the counters twice. I folded napkins in the way his mother had taught me years ago. I cooked his favorite food. The smell filled the apartment in the evening, reminding me of small happy moments we had shared over the years. I told myself, tonight will be good. Tonight we will feel close again. He had left early that day, saying he had errands and meetings. He kissed me before leaving, whispered softly, "I'll bring something special tonight," and I believed him. All day I kept glancing at the clock. I set the table 3 times. Each time I told myself, it's going to be okay, it will be perfect. I didn't notice the signs of distance creeping in over the past months, the longer phone calls he took outside, the short answers when I asked about his day. The way he seemed tired, distracted, somewhere far away even when sitting beside me. I thought it was work. I thought he needed space. I thought love could survive quiet distance. But love cannot survive being replaced quietly, not without warning. I heard the doorbell around 7 in the evening. My heart lifted for a brief second. Flowers, perhaps a gift. Something small to mark our anniversary. I opened the door and froze. The woman was there, holding the hand of a small boy. Another child clutched at her coat. And behind them, my husband, smiling in that familiar way. "This is my family," he said. I nodded, smiled. My body moved before my mind could protest. We went inside. The children were shy. The woman avoided my eyes. My husband, calm as ever, tried to make conversation. I poured tea, served the snacks, and kept my voice steady. "This is my wife," he said, gesturing toward the woman. "And these are my children." The word wife landed like a stone in my chest. I remembered the mornings we had shared, our quiet talks, our laughter, and now none of it seemed to matter. I asked polite questions. She answered softly, looking everywhere but at me. The children were quiet, unsure. It felt like a rehearsal we hadn't been invited to. After a while, my husband explained. He had met her during his work trips. "It just happened," he said. He didn't want to hurt anyone. He thought honesty now was better than hiding it any longer. I listened like one listens to rain against a window. It was there, relentless, and I could not stop it. I could not change it. I did not want to move because moving felt like acknowledging reality. He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled it back. I did not want to touch him, not tonight, not until I understood what had happened to us. For the rest of the evening, we sat together quietly. The cake remained on the table, candles unlit, two of them. For what? For the past we shared, for the love we thought would last forever. At one point, the children laughed over a small game. I watched them, they reminded me of the life we never had. A pang of loss, sharp and real, hit me. My husband kept glancing at me. I thought he would apologize. I thought he would explain why it had come to this, but all he said was, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I wondered if he even realized he had already hurt me. Not with intention, not with anger, but with absence, with silence, with quiet replacement. Later, when everyone went to sleep, I stayed at the table. I looked at the two unlit candles. I remembered the years we had spent together, the meals, the walks, the quiet nights, and I realized something painful. My marriage had ended long before that night. I had only been unaware. I had only been living in hope. I sat alone, tea in hand, thinking of how easily life can shift, how people we love most can step into someone else's life without a word. I wondered how many nights had already passed where he smiled at her while sitting beside me. I wondered if the years we had shared had been erased in his heart, quietly, gently, without malice, without notice. The breaking point wasn't shouting. It wasn't betrayal in dramatic words. It was quiet, it was gentle. It was the realization that love sometimes disappears slowly, like smoke, leaving the body behind. I didn't cry that night. I didn't scream. I just sat. I let the silence fill the room. I let the loss settle on my shoulders like a familiar blanket. In the days that followed, I learned to live differently. I learned that I could exist in the same house with the same people without expecting what I had once had. I stopped asking for explanations. I stopped looking for apologies. They weren't coming. Instead, I focused on myself. I took long walks alone. I called friends I had ignored. I cooked my favorite meals, not for anyone else, but for me. Sometimes, when I saw my husband interacting with the woman and children, I felt a strange, quiet grief. Not anger, not hate, just grief. And sometimes I felt relief. Relief that the quiet distance we had lived in for months was now visible, real, and that I could finally respond to it. I realized that love is not always about keeping someone. Sometimes it's about letting them go quietly without bitterness. Sometimes love is about surviving your own heartbreak with dignity and grace. On our next anniversary, I lit my own candle. I placed it on the table in my apartment. I smiled, not at anyone else, but at myself. I had survived the night. I had survived the loss. And in that survival, I found a quiet strength I had never known before. Love does not always last in the ways we expect. Life does not always unfold according to our plans, but we endure, we survive. We learn that hope can live quietly in the spaces between heartbreak. I will always remember that night, but I will also remember the lessons it brought, the importance of self-respect, the quiet power of letting go, and in the soft light of a candle, I finally felt peace.